Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing this video from my computer, so I'm sorry in advance for any glares or anything that doesn't look, too clear. I do want to share with you guys today. I want to talk a little bit about a serious subject that a lot of people are dealing with at this time, which is anxiety and depression and fear. And I just feel like it's important to speak about this, um, during this time because a lot of people are dealing with it. I personally want to share some personal experiences that I have, that I've had through a lot of years of my life um, with this anxiety and depression. I suffer from that sometimes as well. And I've learned to cope with it. I've learned to deal with it a lot better now. But I do want to share some things with you as well, of my own personal experience with it. So, the first thing I want to say is that it's something that anxiety and fear and depression is something that sometimes can cripple your life. Um, it it comes sometimes on like different levels. Um, for example, my experience with it is um, it's I've had it for years, and because I went through a very rough time in my life, um, at different moments of my life, um, it only got worse with time. Um, a lot of people don't like to talk about it. A lot of people act like it's something normal that, happens in life. And I'm here to tell you that that's not normal. Anxiety and depression is not normal. It's something that we have to take care of. Um, I hear a lot of people saying, well, that's life. Like if they accept it, that, they feel the way they feel and they go through what they go through, like if it's just something natural. And it's sad to say, but it's not. It's something that we have to deal with. um, I struggled a lot with it, and it affected a lot of my life in many ways. It affected relationships, it affected my jobs and my relationships with people. Um, just, in many, many ways, it affected my health. Um, and I'll go, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. But, as far as the relationships that I have, or, that I had before, the way it affected me was that I would shut myself down and I would build like walls between me and people that I loved and that loved me. And I would completely shut down. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to talk sometimes. I just wanted to be in a bubble, just me and my depression and my anxiety. And I will pull away from people. um, they would always ask, how are you doing? And I would always say, I'm okay, knowing I wasn't. And just things like that. And as far as my job, I couldn't be able to concentrate at work. I would be sad and I wouldn't understand why I was so sad. And so it affected me at work because I wasn't able to focus and concentrate. And of course, with things that come your way unexpectedly, it just tends to get worse with time. So, you know, in my health, I because I was depressed, some people would turn to alcohol, some people turn to drugs, some people turn to relationships, and some people turn to food. And unfortunately, I would drown myself in food. I would be crying and depressed and eating a cheeseburger. So that was my, like, that would make me happy at least for that instant. And like I said, a lot of people use relationships. They get into these relationships um, that are only temporary fill. You're with this person for a night, and the next morning life goes on, and it just made you happy for that moment. And these things are not the answers to depression and anxiety. Um, I listen to a lot of preachings and people that are educated, and they speak a lot about how to deal with depression and anxiety. And I was listening to a message from T.D. Jakes the other day, and he was saying how um, the enemy uses your mind, and it's the enemy's, it's the battlefield. It's a battlefield. And he was saying how we let a lot of things come in to our lives, a lot of situations, a lot of people, toxic people, and things like that. And, we keep all of that inside of us, but we never take the time to, you know, get rid of the negativity, get rid of people who are negative, and, just not be around them. Um, and find ways to just move forward from things that happened years ago. Some people carry things around, that they've been through, they went through, years back, and they still carry it around. So just a lot of different things like that. And it's so true, it's so true. Me personally, like, I've always had fear. It's a fear of, and I've noticed that the older I get, the worse it gets. So it's a fear of just everything, a fear about something happening to one of your kids, a fear about health, your health or your children's health, um, the family, those things that that the family is dealing with. Um, just a lot of different things that go through my mind on a daily basis. And I'm always worried about this or that, or how am I going to get this? How am I going to get that? How am I going to, be able to do what I need to do? How am I, it's just a constant fear for everything. And it's gotten to the point where, and I'm just going to be honest, it's gotten to the point where um, I get like a phobia. Like even going upstairs, up some stairs that are super high. A lot of things that I was never afraid of, I'm afraid of now, like heights. I have a phobia with heights. I can't do anything or go anywhere if I have to, be on a high level. Um, just so many things. It's so many things that goes with this. And, you know, like I said, this is not the most exciting video or anything like that, but it's something that has to be talked about. And a lot of people really, really need to hear, that they're not alone, that a lot of people do deal with this on a daily basis. I've always been very private about my life, and I don't share too many personal things, but this is one of the biggest things that I deal with on a daily basis, and it's fear. The fear of disappointing, the fear of getting rejected, the fear of losing, and I hold myself back from so many things that God puts in my way, blessings. I lose out because I can't get over this fear that I have of failing, of not being good enough, or just being a disappointment to people. It's really sad, but it's so true. and it's affected my life in ways where my sleep. It's affected my sleep. I go nights without sleeping, and my mind does not want to shut down. And I start praying, and I'm like, God, help me with this because it's 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm just thinking my little mind away. And most of the time, to be honest, it's negative stuff. It's the like again the worries and the cares of the world, and it's crazy because I know the Lord, and I know that He's in control of my life and the life of my children because you know I let Him in my life, and but it's like it's just the enemy wants to destroy your mind. He wants to destroy your peace and your joy and your happiness, and he wants to put you in a place where you're not a whole person. You limit your life and your everyday things that you would normally do because you're dealing with this anxiety and this fear that you have, you know and unfortunately, that is a lot of the things that I deal with all the time. Um, I just I'm always wanting to be alone. I'm always wanting to be, in my home, hardly ever go out. Um, but it's because I like to be home, but at the same time, um, it's not, you know. Even with the jobs, like I said, I've lost a lot of great opportunities with employers because of my depression and anxiety. And these are not things that I want to sit with anybody and talk about. So a lot of times I've made up excuses on why I don't want to be at a certain job site or, whatever. But it's because there's days that I don't even want to get up in the morning. And I just want to lay in my bed and I do not want to get up. I don't want to be productive. I don't want to, so I push myself every day to clean and, and do my laundry and do things that I know I need to do. And once I'm up and, I get myself going, then, I feel better. But the morning is difficult sometimes for me. And I have a hard time concentrating on things. Sometimes people tell me certain things, and 2 minutes later, I can't remember what they said. So I find myself having to write things down now because honestly, I just can't remember a lot of things. Um, your health gets worse because, believe it or not, anxiety and depression affects your health. So your health gets worse. Your body is like, you're losing weight or you're gaining weight, and you get like the diabetes and you get all this stuff. All of that stuff, the root of it is, what you're dealing with, the anxiety and depression. Um, a lot of people, they increase their addictions. Mine will be food. You know, like I said, now it's a lot better. It's controlled, but there was a time where it's embarrassing and actually disgusting, but there was a time where I felt like I needed to eat all the time. I'm gonna plug my computer in because it's trying to turn off. Let me see if it's plugged in. No, give me 1 second. Sorry guys, I'm trying to plug this computer in real quick because I don't want it to turn off. Yeah, I think it's good now. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so there was a time where all I wanted to do was eat and eat and eat. And I would literally eat like two big plates of food on one sitting, and it was disgusting. It was horrible, but it made me feel good at the moment. Um, Lack of energy, like I said, and my temper. You know, I noticed that it affected my temper. Like I get easily stressed out. Um, a lot of things annoy me. And these are things that will never stress me out or annoy me before. I'm talking about the smallest thing could just make me blow up and get angry and stress out and just it's just really bad. It's really really bad. And I've learned to deal with a lot of things. I've learned to um, control myself more and um, just know, that God is in control. And it's just very difficult to even talk about sometimes. Um, it can break you down completely if you don't get a hold of yourself and start, getting some help. If it's either medication or going to a counselor or therapist, whatever, getting more into your word or prayer, it'll break you down completely. And I wrote some notes. That's why I keep looking too, because I don't want to forget anything. I told you I have to write everything down. Um, what else I wanted to say? And it's true. Like like I said before, I was listening to TD Jakes, and he was saying how the enemy doesn't want your possessions. He doesn't want, your money, your cars, or whatever. The enemy is trying to, get your mind. He's trying to get your mind. So you got to keep your mind filled with things of God and positive things. You got to keep positive people around you, not negative people, toxic people. And believe me, toxic people and negative people will wear you down too. So just get rid of, those types of relationships that you have that, don't bring nothing good to the table. All they want to do is complain or, talk about people or just always in a bad mood or whatever, just stay away from them, honestly. The enemy tries to rob you of your joy, of your peace, those things that God has given you, and that's his plan. That's his plan to destroy you slowly with your mind. Because let me tell you something, if your mind is right, you're good. If your mind is right, you can do anything. If your mind is right, you can get a career. If your mind is right, you can, just everything. Just deal with your family and your finances and, you know, everything has to do with the mind, you know. Um, your peace is more important than anything else. That's why it's so important for you to get it together. And I'm not saying it's easy because let me tell you, I've been dealing with this for years and I'm still not where I want to be. Yes, I've come a long way, and yes, um, I deal with things differently now than I used to, thank God, but it still wants to creep up sometimes on me, The old me wants to creep up sometimes, and it's not a good thing. Trust me, it's not. Um, this is a good point. You are sometimes your worst enemy, and I say that all the time. Um, you are the one that sometimes dwell in certain thoughts, you know. You dwell in past relationships. You dwell in people with, in your thoughts about people who hurt you, who you feel betrayed you in some way. You dwell in your pain of 50,000 years ago. It's you are your worst enemy sometimes. So we have to like relearn to love ourselves again, because along the way in life, sometimes we lose that. We try to take care of everybody else, and we keep pushing our feelings and suppressing and suppressing and suppressing our feelings and all those things that happen to us and all kinds of stuff. And we just keep adding and adding because we're so busy trying to care for everyone else. And when you come to look, it's not even you anymore. You're like a walking skeleton with no emotions, no nothing, you know. Um, your life is not based on other people, and this is another one that I would always worry about what people thought about me, or how they view me, or if they like me, or if they didn't, or if, and let me tell you something right now, I don't really care if they like me, if they don't like me. Um, of course, I want, to have good relationships with everyone. I want to, build relationships with people and all that stuff. But honestly, like, I'm at a point right now where if you don't like me, so be it. You know, it really doesn't affect me in any way. And I like that I feel that way now, because before I was too concerned about what people thought about me or if they like me or not. And honestly, right now, I really don't care. It took too much of my time in life, you know. Um, it says what I put here was what you put in your mind reflects your actions. And that's true, you know. If I put positive things in my mind and I live my everyday life being positive and, doing things, and, of course, everything around me is going to get better, you know. But if I want to, live every day in my depression and just, sulk and all that mess, then that's what I'm going to bring out to everyone around me. And I hate that. I hate that. Sometimes I pray and I be like, God, I don't want to be that person where people don't want to be around me because I'm upset all the time, or I give out a vibe of, of this vibe that people feel uncomfortable. I never want to be that person, and I try my best not to be, but honestly, sometimes it happens. We need to let go of things that hurt us, in the past, and that was a hard one for me too. But thank God, with prayer, let me tell you something about prayer. You might not think you're doing anything, you know. You might not think that you're doing much by speaking to God, but trust me, prayer is key to everything, honestly. And I pray a lot. I pray a whole lot, and I can honestly say that the good that I have today is because God has changed my life. He has changed my life in many, many ways. And I'm not embarrassed to talk about God or Jesus, because let me tell you, it wasn't until I surrendered everything to God. It wasn't until I said, God, I can't do this on my own. I need you, that things started happening and things started changing in my life. And a lot of work still has to be done, a lot of more praying, but I'm not even close to where I was before. And I thank God for that. You got to express your pain and be responsible for your mistakes as well. Because a lot of times like I said, we dwell and dwell on how people hurt us, but we never think about the times we've hurt people. And you have to be a responsible person and say, I forgive them for what they did, but I need to take responsibility for what I've done as well. And it's hand in hand, with the fact that you hurt someone or they hurt you, whatever. It's hand in hand. You have to forgive them, and you have to make amends with those that you hurt as well. And it works for your benefit. It works for you. I'm not, don't I'm not here to, I'm not a therapist or none of that stuff. I'm just sharing with you my heart, and I'm sharing with you, real life things that we go through on a daily basis. Um, stop being the victim. Stop playing victim. And like I said, take responsibilities for your feelings, responsibilities for the things you've done wrong. Take responsibility for everything that you need to take responsibility for. Um, you need to focus on the present and not the past. Um, I had to learn that too, because I was so caught up with the hurt that I was in, and the stuff that I went through. And then I started realizing that I have people that love me around me. I have kids and I have grandchildren. I have family and friends that truly, truly love me. And there's so many blessings all around me on a daily basis. And I had to learn how to look at the blessings and not the past. I had to learn how to do that because I missed out. I missed out on a lot of things, um, decisions that I made in the past, and it cost me a lot. And still today, I feel like I'm paying for a lot of things like that I did in the past. But right now, I focus and I try my best to focus on the positive. I try my best to be that person that I always wanted to be, as far as being positive and spread love to my family. I always let them know that I love them and things like that. You have to get to that point. Memories are not the problem. The problem, memories are memories. That's exactly what they are, memories. We can't dwell on them, rather, good or bad, they're memories. You have to move forward from all of that stuff if you want to be healthy, in your mind. Um, the only way you can heal is when you let go. When you let go and you let God, that's how you're going to heal. And it's easier said than done. But and the reason I say that is because when you say you want to heal from something, that means that most 99% of the time you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to deal with the pain again. And a lot of people are not willing to do that. But in order to heal, you need to go back, forgive who you have to forgive, and move forward and let go of it, and, you know, move forward from all of that. Um, Another thing that I feel like it's good that we need to do is we need to stop talking about the past all the time. You know, we need to stop talking about people that hurt you. We need to stop talking about how you wanted your life to be and how you don't have it like that anymore, or you never, how you wanted your life to be, and now it's a whole different thing. You're not happy with the way your life is going, and all of that stuff. Whatever has happened in your life is because of two things. You put yourself in that position, so that's why you're dealing with those things, and now you have to deal with the consequences, or that was just God's plan for you. It's simple. So we have to learn how to accept whatever comes now and move forward, and love your life, love your family, love yourself, and just make the best of what you have right now. you know um Another thing that I want to bring out is I used to justify my actions because of how I felt. And that wasn't right. And it wasn't fair to everyone around me. I used to always say, well, you know what? I went through this and I went through that, and that's why I'm the way I am. And yeah, to a certain point, it's true. But when are we going to move forward from that? Like, when are we going to just say, yeah, I went through that. Yeah, it hurt me. Yeah, I changed my life in a lot of ways, and mostly it wasn't good. But this is where I'm at today. This is where I'm here now. I'm not there anymore. I'm here. So we need to stop justifying, our behavior and making and saying that it's because of what we went through and stuff like that. It's true to a certain point, but we can't stay there. We have to move forward from that. There's times that I've said, I'm not gonna say I'm sorry to them. They were the one that hurt me. I'm not gonna apologize. They gotta apologize to me. Things like that. And then I also used to be like, why should they get away with stuff? Why should he or she get away with it? No, I'm not gonna let them get away. That was the attitude, that I had. And I'm learning. I'm still learning. Trust me, I still go through a lot of stuff. I'm not perfect in any kind of way, shape, or form. I go through a lot of stuff. I go through a lot of emotions. I go through anger. I go through all of that. I still go through a lot of stuff. But I'm taking the steps to make sure that it gets better. I'm taking the steps to do that. I put new habits lead to new outcomes. So if you want new outcomes, you need to, you know, leave the old habits and do something new with your life and with yourself. Um, find out who you are, what you love, what are the things that you love, what are the things that make you happy, what are the things that you want to do in your life, where do you want to go, you know, where do you want to travel, where do you want to, what lessons do you want to learn, what languages do you want to learn. There's so many things that you can start doing in your life that will take all that negative stuff from your mind, all that anxiety and all of that, and turn it into positive, you know. I like to craft. I like to do crafts. I like to sing. I like to do makeup. I like to do YouTube. These are things that I like to cook for family. I have a lot of things that I love to do, and I stay busy doing them. This is what I love to do, so I do them. And it takes my mind off all the stuff and all that negative stuff, and it puts me in a place where I'm happy and joyful and all of that stuff. Um, what else? And I think I'm gonna leave you with this, but live in the present. You have to live in the present. For years and years and years, I lived in my past, but now I live in my present. Now I enjoy life a bit more. I go out with my family. I talk to my family. I enjoy my family. Like I said, I do, YouTube and and stuff like that. And I'm not no professional or nothing, but it's something that I love to do, and it keeps me busy, and then it's something that I just love to do. So just move forward, and stop going back to those things that you don't need to go back to. Right now with this corona virus thing, everybody's at home. Do things in your home that you haven't done in a while. Spend time with your kids, spend time with your family. Do your hair, do your nails, clean your house, organize your shelves. There's so many things that you can do, so do it. Do it now that you have the time. Because once you go back to work, you just lost out on all this time that you could have done a lot of that stuff. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I love you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you do. It means a lot to me. And if you haven't clicked on that notification bell, go ahead and do so so you won't miss any of my uploads. Once again, thank you for stopping by and listening. I know it was a long video, but thank you guys. Love you. Bye bye.